Welcome back, my boundary-shattering truth speaker. Something absolutely seismic just occurred that has entire room experiencing profound recalibration. You verbalized something in spontaneous, unfiltered moment that everyone was thinking but nobody dared say aloud. And rather than your words being dismissed or creating backlash that social convention would predict, they instead triggered collective recognition shift, where everyone present is now looking at you completely differently, as if you've revealed authority or insight they hadn't perceived before, making single authentic statement reshape entire social dynamic by demonstrating you operate under different rules than constraints governing everyone else's speech. This wasn't you making calculated announcement after careful preparation ensuring safety and optimal reception. This was you speaking raw, unfiltered truth in real time without apparent concern for social consequences that would make others self-censor, creating moment where your spontaneous authenticity didn't just express perspective but actually change the rules governing what can be said and who has standing to say it, through demonstrating courage or clarity that redefines acceptable discourse boundaries. The architects have been monitoring spontaneous authority and discourse boundary phenomena across civilizations for eons, and they've identified what you demonstrated as authentic utterance. Social recalibration, when someone speaks truth that violates social conventions but resonates with collective unconscious recognition. Their willingness to verbalize what others only thought creates immediate authority conferral, where they become perceived as operating under different rules than normal social constraints because their authentic speech demonstrated either courage to violate conventions or insight transcending them. Most people self-censor continuously, monitoring their speech to avoid social consequences, filtering thoughts to maintain acceptability, suppressing authentic responses to preserve relationships or status, making their discourse governed by elaborate rules about what can be said and how it must be framed to avoid punishment. But your real-time statement apparently violated these conventions. You said something that normal social rules would prohibit, yet rather than facing predicted consequences, your authentic utterance created authority shift where observers now perceive you as transcending ordinary constraints through possessing either special standing that exempts you from normal rules or superior insight that makes conventional boundaries irrelevant. Watch what's happening as observers process your spontaneous truth. Social rules are being questioned. Your demonstration, that authentic statement could violate conventions without negative consequences, makes people reconsider whether rules they've been following are actually necessary or just collective fiction that persists through everyone complying. Despite nobody actually enforcing them, your status has fundamentally shifted, where previously you were perceived as peer subject to same constraints as everyone else. You're now seen as operating at different level where normal rules don't apply, creating authority differential that didn't exist before your spontaneous, authentic utterance revealed courage or insight others lack. Some observers are experiencing liberation, recognizing, you could say, forbidden truth without consequences makes them reconsider their own self-censorship, wondering if they too could speak more authentically without facing punishment they've assumed would follow violation of social conventions. Others are experiencing discomfort. Your boundary violation threatens social order they rely on for predictability and safety, making them want to reassert conventional rules even though your demonstration proved these constraints are more conditional than absolute. The truly powerful element is that you didn't announce rule change. You simply spoke authentically without seeking permission, and reality reorganized around your spontaneous truth-making. Conventions that seemed absolute prove conditional when someone demonstrates willingness to violate them. You said it in real time, now they're looking at you different. Like the rules just changed through recognizing you operate under different constraints than limitations, governing their speech and granting you authority that authentic, spontaneous utterance unexpectedly conferred. Now the architects are analyzing what creates authentic utterance, social recalibration, and they're identifying what they call convention transcendence, truth, resonance. When someone speaks authentic, truth that violates social norms but aligns with deeper collective recognition, their statement creates resonance, where others acknowledge validity despite convention violation, because truth content overrides form violations, making authentic insight more compelling than comfortable fiction, regardless of how directly it contradicts established discourse boundaries. Most social rules persist through compliance. People follow conventions because everyone else does, creating self-reinforcing system where rules remain unchallenged because individuals fear being only one to violate them, even when collectively nobody believes conventions serve genuine purposes anymore. But your spontaneous statement broke this equilibrium by speaking truth that resonated despite violating conventions. You revealed that rules persisted through fear rather than belief, making others recognize they'd been constraining themselves unnecessarily, because your demonstration proved authentic speech could succeed where conventional wisdom predicted only failure. Consider what truth resonance requires practically. Your statement must align with suppressed collective knowledge. Saying something nobody was thinking wouldn't create resonance, even if authentic, making your power come from verbalizing what everyone already knew but hadn't acknowledged, giving voice to collective unconscious recognition that social conventions had been suppressing. Timing must be optimal. Same statement in different moment might have faced resistance, suggesting your spontaneous utterance occurred when collective readiness to hear truth exceeded investment in maintaining comfortable fiction, creating moment where authentic speech could succeed. Watch what convention transcendence creates in authority dynamics. You're perceived as possessing special insight, ability to recognize and articulate suppressed truth suggests you operate at higher consciousness level than those who remained bound by conventional constraints, making observers attribute superior awareness to you through assuming your authentic speech reflects deeper understanding rather than just greater courage. Some studying group dynamics recognize that truth tellers do gain status. Research shows people who voice collective concerns or articulate shared but unspoken recognition often emerge as informal leaders, making your authority gain consistent with pattern where authentic speech creates influence, regardless of formal position. Others exploring social courage note that boundary violation requires calculated risk assessment. Speaking forbidden truth involves weighing potential consequences against importance of authentic expression, making your spontaneous utterance potentially reflect either exceptional courage or sophisticated judgment about when conventions can be safely violated rather than reckless disregard. For social consequences, a few from political theory recognize that paradigm shifts begin with convention violations. Established orders maintain control through making alternatives seem unthinkable, making someone willing to think and speak unthinkable thoughts. First step toward broader social transformation, suggesting your spontaneous, authentic utterance might be initiating larger discourse boundary renegotiation. Some attempting similar authentic speech discover immediate backlash, trying to replicate your success by violating conventions. They face exactly the negative consequences you somehow avoided, revealing that not all truth-telling succeeds and that factors beyond just authenticity determine whether convention violation creates authority or punishment. The architects observed that convention transcendence, truth resonance, is what enabled your spontaneous statement to succeed. Authentic Truth violated social norms but aligned with deeper collective recognition, creating resonance. Most convention violations face resistance. Your truth created authority and alignment between your authentic utterance and suppressed collective knowledge made observers value truth content over form violations, granting you special status through recognizing you verbalized what they were thinking but lacked courage or insight to say, making your spontaneous real-time speech demonstrate either exceptional bravery or superior awareness that transcends ordinary social constraints everyone else remains subjected to. Something powerful is spreading through observers. Now, what the architects call self-censorship recognition, resentment. People processing your successful, authentic utterance are discovering they've been unnecessarily constraining their own speech through excessive caution, creating retrospective anger at themselves for self-silencing when your demonstration proved authentic. Expression was possible without predicted catastrophic consequences they'd been avoiding through preemptive compliance with social conventions. Most people accept self-censorship as necessary, believing that monitoring their speech and filtering thoughts protects them from social punishment. They treat self-constraint as rational strategy for navigating complex social environments where authentic expression could damage relationships or opportunities. But your spontaneous success reveals their caution might have been excessive. If you could speak forbidden truth without facing consequences they'd assumed were inevitable, then perhaps they've been unnecessarily limiting themselves through overestimating enforcement of social rules that persist more through collective fear than through actual punishment. Watch what self-censorship recognition creates emotionally. Some experience liberating relief, realizing they can speak more authentically than they'd believed makes them feel freed from constraints they'd thought were unavoidable, creating excitement about expressing themselves more genuinely now that your demonstration proved conventions are more flexible than they'd assumed. Others experience bitter resentment, recognizing they've wasted years self-silencing unnecessarily makes them angry at themselves for excessive caution and at social systems that encouraged this self-constraint. Through making consequences seem inevitable when your success proved they were conditional, creating frustration about opportunities for authentic expression they sacrificed through over-compliance. A few experience defensive rationalization rather than acknowledging their self-censorship was excessive. They're finding reasons why your situation was unique, making your success non-replicable for them, protecting their self-concept as rational, cautious person rather than acknowledging they might have been overcautious, coward, missing opportunities for authentic influence that bolder speech could have created. Some studying conformity recognize that people do overestimate social enforcement. Research shows individuals believe others care more about convention violations than they actually do, making self-censorship often exceed necessary caution through people imagining punishments that wouldn't actually occur if they violated norms. Others exploring regret note that discovering unnecessary self-limitation creates particularly painful retrospection. Realizing you constrained yourself more than required generates more resentment than constraints imposed externally, because self-imposed limitations feel like personal failures rather than like unavoidable circumstances beyond control. A few recognize that your success might reflect specific advantages. Perhaps you have status or circumstances protecting you from consequences others would face, making your authentic speech succeed precisely because you possess privileges that make your situation non-generalizable to people lacking similar protections. Some celebrating reduced self-censorship as positive development, using your demonstration as permission to express themselves more authentically. They're experimenting with greater honesty, seeing how much convention violation they can achieve without facing consequences they'd previously feared. The architects observe that self-censorship, recognition, resentment reveals that your spontaneous, authentic utterance teaches others about their own unnecessary constraints. Your success proved self-silencing was excessive. Most believed caution was necessary. Your demonstration revealed overcompliance and recognition that they've been unnecessarily constraining speech through overestimating. Social enforcement creates complex mixture of liberation from discovering greater freedom exists than they'd believed, and resentment toward themselves for excessive caution that sacrificed opportunities for authentic expression and influence that bolder speech might have created, making your spontaneous real-time truth-telling catalyst for collective reconsideration of how much self-censorship social participation actually requires versus how much represents overcautious preemptive compliance with conventions that prove more flexible when tested. Now the architects are revealing what made your spontaneous statement successful. You apparently possess what they call authentic timing, intuitive calibration, where your real-time utterance wasn't random, reckless speech, but reflected sophisticated unconscious assessment of exactly when authentic truth could be spoken successfully, demonstrating social intuition, enabling you to sense moments when collective readiness to hear truth exceeds investment in maintaining conventions. Most people either self-censor excessively or violate conventions, recklessly operating from rigid rules about what can be said, rather than from moment-by-moment assessment of when authentic speech will succeed versus when it will face resistance, making them miss opportunities for influential authentic utterance or face unnecessary consequences through poor timing. But you apparently possess calibration capacity, unconsciously or consciously reading social field to identify moments when truth can be spoken successfully, enabling you to violate conventions when doing so will create authority rather than punishment, because collective state makes authentic utterance welcomed rather than resisted. Consider what timing calibration requires practically. You must sense collective readiness, detecting subtle signals indicating group is prepared to hear truth that moments earlier would have faced resistance, enabling you to speak authentic statement exactly when it will resonate, rather than when it would create backlash. Watch what intuitive calibration creates in speech effectiveness. Your authentic utterances succeed disproportionately because you only violate conventions when timing is optimal. Your track record of successful authentic speech exceeds what random boundary violation would produce, making observers attribute special qualities to you rather than recognizing your success reflects superior timing judgment rather than just greater courage. Some studying social intelligence recognize that timing is crucial, variable. Same statement at different moments creates completely different responses, making when something is said often more important than what is said or how it's framed, suggesting your apparent rule transcendence might reflect superior timing rather than exemption from constraints. Others exploring intuition note that social reading can operate unconsciously. People often sense appropriate moments for certain communications without consciously analyzing signals they're responding to, making your calibration potentially reflect implicit social intelligence rather than deliberate strategic calculation about optimal timing. A few from complexity theory recognize that systems have phase transitions, moments when small inputs create large changes because system is poised at critical point, suggesting your authentic utterance might have succeeded through occurring exactly at moment when social field was ready to shift, making your statement catalyst rather than cause of transformation. Some attempting to develop similar calibration discover extreme difficulty trying to sense optimal moments for authentic speech requires social sensitivity most people lack, making them either remain overcautious, missing opportunities, or speak authentically at wrong moments facing resistance. that better timing would have avoided. Others questioning whether timing was truly calculated, wondering if your success was fortunate accident rather than skillful calibration, recognizing that distinguishing between lucky timing and genuine intuitive assessment is difficult because unconscious social reading produces results that appear similar to random chance when successful, a few recognizing that calibration can be developed. While some people might have natural social intuition, deliberate attention to group dynamics, and systematic observation of when authentic speech succeeds versus fails can build timing judgment through learning patterns that unconscious processing can then utilize. The architects observed that authentic timing intuitive calibration is what enabled your spontaneous statement to succeed. Utterance occurred exactly when collective readiness made truth welcomed rather than resisted. Most people have poor timing. Your calibration was optimal, and sophisticated unconscious or conscious assessment of when authentic truth can be spoken successfully enabled you to violate conventions at precisely the moment when doing so would create authority rather than punishment, making your apparent rule transcendence potentially reflect superior timing judgment rather than actual exemption from social constraints that still govern speech but prove flexible when someone possesses calibration capacity, enabling them to sense and utilize moments when authentic utterance will resonate rather than facing resistance that poor timing would create. The architects are now analyzing how your spontaneous statement changed your relationships. You're experiencing what they call authenticity differential intimacy reorganization. We're demonstrating willingness to speak unfiltered truth while others self-censor creates perceived authenticity gap, making people fundamentally recalibrate their relationship with you, either moving closer through valuing your genuine expression or creating distance through discomfort with your boundary violations that threaten their continued investment in conventional constraints. Most relationships maintain authenticity equilibrium. People match each other's level of authentic expression versus social performance, creating comfortable balance where everyone engages at similar depth, making interactions predictable and safe. But your spontaneous authentic utterance disrupted this equilibrium by demonstrating significantly greater willingness to express unfiltered truth than others practice. You created authenticity differential, where you're now perceived as operating at different genuineness level than people who remain more socially filtered, forcing relationship reorganization around this newly visible gap. Watch what authenticity differential creates in relationship dynamics. Some people move closer, valuing your demonstrated genuineness. They're seeking increased connection with you because authentic expression is rare quality they appreciate, making them want more exposure to someone willing to speak unfiltered truth they find refreshing compared to conventional filtered discourse. Others create distance, uncomfortable with your boundary violations, or threatened by comparison, highlighting their own inauthenticity. They're pulling back from relationship because your genuine expression makes them feel either judged for their filtering or pressured to match authenticity level they're unwilling or unable to sustain. A few attempt matching your authenticity. Inspired or challenged by your demonstration, they're experimenting with more genuine expression in interactions with you, either successfully elevating their own authenticity or awkwardly attempting depth they cannot sustain, creating forced intimacy that feels performative rather than genuine. Some studying relationship depth recognize that authenticity does differentiate connections. People who practice genuine expression form different quality relationships than those who maintain heavy social filtering, making your demonstrated authenticity potentially attract others seeking depth while repelling those preferring surface-level conventional interactions. Others exploring vulnerability. Note that authentic speech requires trust. Speaking Unfiltered truth makes you vulnerable to judgment or exploitation, suggesting people moving closer value your demonstration of trust, while those creating distance might fear obligations that genuine relationship would require, compared to comfortable superficiality of conventional filtered interactions. A few recognize that perceived authenticity might be selective. You might filter heavily in some contexts while appearing genuine in specific moments, making observers' perception that you operate with consistent authenticity potentially reflect limited observation sample rather than accurate assessment of your overall communication patterns across all situations, some celebrating authenticity attraction as validation, finding that genuine people are drawn to you while superficial people retreat, confirms your authentic expression is attracting relationships you actually want while filtering out connections that wouldn't have provided genuine intimacy anyway, making authenticity differential serve beneficial sorting function. Others experiencing isolation anxiety as authentic people become scarce, recognizing that most people practice heavy filtering makes finding others willing to engage authentically difficult, creating concern that your genuine expression might leave you isolated among predominantly filtered communicators who cannot or will not match depth you're offering. The architects observe that authenticity differential intimacy reorganization reveals that your spontaneous statement affected relationships beyond just conferring authority, demonstrating willingness to speak unfiltered. Truth created perceived genuineness, gap forcing, relationship recalibration, equilibrium feels comfortable. Your authenticity disrupted balance and differential between your demonstrated genuine expression and others. Continued filtering is making some people move closer, valuing rare authenticity, while others create distance, uncomfortable with boundary violations or threatened by comparison, fundamentally reorganizing your social network around newly visible authenticity gap that your spontaneous, real-time truth-speaking revealed, making you appear to operate at different genuineness level than people who remain governed by conventional self-censorship. You demonstrated transcending. Now something's emerging that the architects call spontaneous authority. Consolidation. Challenge. Observers, recognizing authority, your authentic utterance, conferred, are now watching to see whether you can sustain the special status your spontaneous statement created, making every subsequent communication test whether your apparent rule transcendence was one-time occurrence or reflects genuine consistent capacity to operate beyond ordinary constraints. Most authority is institutionally conferred. People receive positions through formal processes, creating stable recognized status that doesn't require constant redemonstration, making their authority persist independent of ongoing performance. But authority you gained through spontaneous, authentic speech is performance-based. Observers granted you special status because your statement demonstrated qualities they valued, making this authority conditional on continuing to demonstrate those capacities rather than being stable position you now hold, regardless of subsequent behavior. Watch what authority consolidation creates as pressure. Every statement gets scrutinized now that you've established reputation for authentic speech, transcending conventions. Observers are watching subsequent communications to assess whether you maintain this pattern or whether your spontaneous utterance was anomaly, making each interaction carry weight that casual speech normally wouldn't bear. Some studying charismatic authority recognize that performance-based status does require continuous demonstration. Max Weber distinguished between traditional, legal, rational, and charismatic authority, with charismatic leadership being most unstable because it depends on ongoing demonstration of exceptional qualities, making your spontaneous utterance authority inherently precarious compared to institutionally conferred positions. Others exploring reputation maintenance Note that initial impression creates expectations. Your authentic statement established pattern that people now expect you to continue, making subsequent conventional, filtered speech seem like disappointing regression rather than being neutral because it contradicts the authentic communicator identity or spontaneous utterance created. A few recognize that authority maintenance might require strategic restraint. If you violate conventions constantly, your boundary violations lose impact through becoming expected rather than special. Suggesting optimal strategy might involve mostly conventional communication punctuated by strategic, authentic utterances, maintaining perception that you transcend rules without making violations so frequent they lose power. Some experiencing performance pressure struggle with authenticity expectations, feeling obligated to continue, demonstrating genuine expression that observers now expect makes authentic communication feel performative, creating paradox where pressure to be authentic makes spontaneous genuineness harder to sustain because self-consciousness about maintaining reputation interferes with unfiltered expression that created authority initially. Others embracing consolidation challenge as motivation, using observers' scrutiny as incentive to deepen authentic practice. They're treating authority maintenance pressure as beneficial force, pushing them toward more consistent, genuine expression rather than as burden, creating self-consciousness that would undermine authenticity. A few questioning whether authority maintenance is desirable, recognizing that special status creates expectations and scrutiny. Some wonder if attempting to consolidate authority, your spontaneous statement conferred, is worth costs in spontaneity and pressure compared to letting status fade through, returning to conventional communication that feels more natural, even if less influential. The architects observe that spontaneous authority consolidation challenge reveals that status, your authentic utterance, created requires ongoing demonstration. Observers are watching to assess whether rule transcendence persists. Institutional authority is stable. Your status is performance-based, and recognition that every subsequent communication tests whether your apparent convention transcendence was one-time occurrence or reflects genuine, consistent capacity creates pressure to maintain authentic expression that initially felt spontaneous, making authority consolidation require either developing sustainable, authentic communication practice or strategically deploying genuine utterances while mostly operating conventionally to preserve special impact that constant boundary violation would dilute through making your authentic speech expected rather than exceptional demonstration of qualities that transcend ordinary social constraints.